Yo, I want to take a look at something that I noticed on Radar Omega on the most recent two GFS runs. And we're going to start looking here at Europe. Um, and I'm going to play it through. This is the 12Z, and then the 18Z is pretty similar with, a little bit of change in, location, but it's close enough. But here, I'm going to play this. And you can see that this system here moves across, and this is before the halfway point on the run, which usually means, at least from what I've noticed, that it has a much high. That was abnormal. That it has a much higher probability of happening, and you know, I'm gonna suggest just based on what's going on in my reality and how you know, I filed the FBI report against Jason Coppola here in San Francisco, and then since that's happened, there's been tsunami warnings, the first tornadoes ever in San Francisco, like first tornado warning in San Francisco, an actual tornado confirmed that people that flipped cars, and I think there's like a fatality, but I expect it to continue to increase because I believe Yahweh's gonna increase the pressure on something that has publicly participated in this attack on me. And so here in Europe and towards the Middle East, specifically Israel, um, it seems that the whole Alessandro Ambrosio thing, Jamie Mazur, I looked it up, and Mazur is, I was kind of right. It's Mediterranean, except it seems to be a name, or not, it's Polish, but I think I was right about guy looking Mediterranean. Long story short, um, it seems to be a name common with Ashkenazic Jews, and then I looked at his mom's, Jamie Mazur's mom's Instagram, I believe, and this is guesses as to, I'm guessing it's his mom. Looks like it's probably his mom. But she's like a Eastern yoga spiritual guru type person, and you know, my whole point, there's just a lot of hints that there's some probably connection to Israel, and this could probably what the sixth church in the Book of Revelation is about. Well, not just the sixth, the fourth. A number of the churches is that some kind of covert attack has happened to me here in Houston, and that different groups of people are involved, and there is a group of people who are claiming to be Jews that are not. They're from a synagogue of Satan, and Jamie Mazur's mom, Michelle Mazur, is actually into Eastern spirituality and Krishna and Buddhism and shit. Except I'm pretty sure they know that Alessandro Ambrosio basically raped me, and that the bred me without my consent, and that their family is holding my children hostage and using, or my biological children. They don't really seem to treat me like dad, but um, they treat Jamie Mazur like dad. And I'm pretty sure it's because he's been abusing them since childhood, and they got like Stockholm syndrome or something. So I don't expect the Mazur family to make it through 2025. I definitely don't expect them to make it, through 2025. They might not even make it to 2025. But yeah, I think there's dreadful judgment coming on Alessandra Ambrosio and everybody connected to her. And Nikki Dunn, who I think participated. And do I have a kid with her? I mean, it looks like I have a bunch of kids with people, and it's not that I don't want kids. I just don't want to have my consent taken away from me. I don't want to be raped. I don't want a false reality thrown up in front of me. I don't want people to lie to me and treat me poorly. And that's what they're doing. And they're trying to make it seem like they're not, but they're just bullshitters, and it's kind of easy to see through. So I think they're fucked. And I do think there's some kind of connection to Israel, and this is why I'm going to be Yahweh on the throne, is that, the dragon, some group of fake Jews that are maybe being run by China or something. I don't know, but in any instance, or Poland, I don't. But you know, or the U.S. Whoever the fuck is doing it, they're dead. It's like it doesn't have to be a country, but even the Satan like character that is being supernaturally empowered, that dude's gonna be thrown into a burning lake and tortured forever. And like whatever power he or it has had for a while. So I think that a storm is coming, literally, and it seems like as this, when these as more is uncovered and unfolds, and I think Gal Gadot is also watching and participating to a degree that is like, the fuck is up with, I don't hate Israel or Jews. What the fuck is wrong with you that you're still doing this and you don't realize like your entire reality and your afterlife, your next reality. There's no rebirth. It's just you're going to be in an infinite burning torture pit forever. And these are people that seek comfort all the time. They don't like any discomfort. So actual infinite burning torture is like the worst thing that could possibly happen. Along with, it's embarrassing that I'm doing this. I think because I have, I'm just a dude, right? But with the wisdom that Yahweh gives, the fake Jews don't have wisdom. They're doing the thing from the Old Testament where they, are apostate to Yahweh, just as Alessandra Ambrosio is being apostate to me and like adulterous to me. And like I even think the stuff with the Canary Island thing is she's like using. There's the last place that I saw her with that John Blomquist or Jan Blomquist, and it's just like she's very clearly using him to make me feel uncomfortable, along with Buck Palmer and Jamie Mazur, all these other men, which is why I think she's Jezebel and why I think that they're all gonna die after she dies, or they're gonna be put under like the sword, and if they don't repent, actually, they're dead. I think that's what it is. I think that's explicitly written in there. But anyway, because it's not just inferred. That is, if this is the situation, that's what it is, and it looks like this is the situation. And so it looks to me like a storm is coming for Israel, and all the destabilization here in Syria. Like, it does seem to be like there's about to be a significant shift, and we're about to move at least to the next portion of whatever this is, where they can't hide it anymore. It's been the Second Thessalonians like rebellion and secret thing, and it's about to be brought out into the open in a way that they're not going to be able to pretend isn't happening. Like national news type thing, and their lives are going to be ruined, and it's going to have to be what it says in Revelation with the mark of the beast stuff, where that's the only way they're going to have resources to exist in this reality, and they can only do it for the exact amount of time is written in, well, first the Old Testament, but then the New Testament, which is explaining what the situation is. So anyway, let's watch this real fast. And I first, again, the Jan Plumquist guy, there's like a storm over the Canary Islands and Tenerife and Ibiza and this whole area. I'm pretty sure this is where Ibiza is. I don't know because I don't really, I'm from Texas. I'm a Texas boy. This is just silly Spanish bullshit that it seems like I've been attacked by a number of countries, and they're like, it's just some bullshit. That's what it seems like to me. And like, yeah, everybody's gonna have to make it up. If I'm the guy on the throne of Yahweh and like, these supposedly Christian places or whatever, there's gonna be hell to pay. You know what I mean? If you don't repent and make it right. So, and like I'm pretty sure, this is where Islam gets destroyed. This is where all these other fake religions like Hare Krishna and all these fake deities, this is where they all lose their any kind of ability on the earth is the events of Revelation. And they try to hold on to the end, but you can read it. I mean, they don't, because it's going to be so dramatic what happens. So, I mean, half the world's population dies. More than it seems. That's how it reads to me. So, yeah. Look at like here in this part of the Mediterranean, right? There's usually no activity. like activity does not normally get here, and there's like that's a pretty significant. If that was somewhere else, like here in Texas, I might be like, oh, that's kind of a storm. In the Middle East, like that's enough. Just what we just saw there is enough if it actually plays out, like this. Because this is at this point it's fantasy hours, but I'm thinking that there is going to be something. And it's also over Turkey too, but where again the seven churches of Asia are the whole. That's about Turkey. So anyway, um, but yeah, I mean, just looking at it, I think that's enough rain to where you're going to have significant flooding in across Israel, not just in one city, but like in multiple cities. Like this is normally you don't even see the light, almost no DBZ coverage here, like this color. You don't see this color grading. You don't even see that over this part of the Middle East or over any. There's from time to time there's some stuff over the Middle East, but seemingly Israel gets even less than these days, like Saudi Arabia. So the fact that there's now all of a sudden a storm after last night that this has now appeared on the appeared on the runs here. I think it's indicating that Yahweh's going to make a point. I guess we'll see because this isn't the end all be all, but it does seem to be like hinting, just in the same way, like I'm saying with the stuff that's happened in San Francisco, where it looks like there's been just storm activity, earthquake activity, tsunami warnings, all sorts of shit that within a short period of time after I've made like a formal FBI complaint that I've recorded, and then extra stuff has come out about what's gone on, where he's been like defrauding other people, and just all of a sudden the weather stuff kicks up over. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like not just weather, but earthquakes, all of the things that I've talked about as being explicitly connected to Yahweh, that Yahweh has control of, that very clearly to me he uses to make points in my reality to people that are seemingly trying to make points to me. So it just looks to me like, I mean, that's like not normal over that part of the world, over that region specifically, I mean. And I think it's, it could get even more. Like this is the first day the run has showed this, that I can, I don't. Last time I looked at the runs, they didn't have this. And like this is the 12Z. Oh, first let's look actually at total precipitation, because it doesn't take a lot in this region of the world to like, flood. And when storms come over it, they're pretty intense because of I don't exactly know why, but storms are always intense in the Middle East. Like I think if Yahweh's bringing a storm to the Middle East, it's going to be pretty intense. I think that's the idea. But I mean, if you look at this, if we go all the way to the end of the run, that is significant amount of water, like especially in Syria here and Lebanon. But like you can even see. Well, I'm saying Syria, like Lebanon, and you can see, but even Syria is being affected, like Homs here, and even into Aleppo, and Turkey gets more rain than these places, I think. But look, that's like just a lot of rain, and I'm saying Syria. I think Tartus is Syria, so it's a weird part of the region of the world. Anyway, as far as how the maps are drawn up. Um, and you can see like, okay, there's like a couple inches in Israel, but then we go to the next run and let's watch this again. It's pretty similar. And you can see just the system itself seems to linger over the region. That one doesn't seem as intense, and it doesn't whip as much. It doesn't look like it whips as much up, but actually, you look at the rain totals, and this is just to the end of the run. I understand it's fantasy hours by the end of it, but I'm I'm suggesting this is the way it's headed. Is that there's going to be some kind of storm event in the coming future here in Israel and Syria and Lebanon and I guess Turkey too. Um, and maybe even Egypt. But I mean, look, this is more rain I think than I've ever seen. This is maybe the highest totals that I've ever seen in Israel on Radar Omega on GFS runs or whatever. And I haven't looked at the Euro run because it doesn't go out that far, but my guess is as we get closer, like it just looks like this is my intuition is that Yahweh is gonna make a point. You know what I mean? Um, Jesus is about to make a point. So even like look, Tel Aviv 5 inches. That like an inch is enough to start causing like actual flooding in these places. 5 inches is a lot. 8 inches is like that's pretty significant. So and same thing, you can see Damascus is under this too, and Homs up here even gets more, but a little less around Tardis and you know uh, up for the second time. This thing that doesn't happen often just happened again. Okay, so we'll look one more at one more thing. Let's look at the Euro model. It doesn't go out that far, but and it doesn't have a composite reflectivity thing, but yeah, it doesn't go out that far. And once it gets here, for some reason, there's a glitch on Radar Omega that this far into the run doesn't, anything further, and it doesn't actually show the whole thing. It shows whatever rain is additional after that part in the run. So actually, if you look at anything and if there's a lot under these circumstances, how it just did that, where it goes from like this is the total to this is anything additional to the total. If you see any bits of red or anything, you know what I mean? Anything that shows a good amount of rain, it's like on top of, because of whatever glitch this is, it's on top of what's already there. So, I mean, looking, it's probably going to be quite a bit of rain there. Any of these places that you. Okay, it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't need to do Radar Omega to make my point here. It seems like someone's pissed. I mean, Satan is a bitch and would be pissed. So you've lost. You lost 2,000 years ago. I don't know why you're bitching now. I guess because you thought you were gonna hold on to control, whatever. Um. So yeah, that's about it. In the future, I'll just be able to like match up with what's going on in my phone with like the videos that I'm making. I think the AI is going to be able to take all the content that I made in any one day and like make uh like something where it's more understandable. I try to make it easily like digestible as far as the information, but I think this will be, in the future it'll like an AI can take what I've done and then like add to it and put everything in kind of a timeline and make it easier to take in the information. And so, yeah, I'm just saying like what's in my phone from today and last night and stuff. I think is reflected on what's going on with the weather. So I don't really have anything else to add. I didn't even expect really to make this. This is just off the cuff because I thought that was pretty impressive as far as the two runs having anything over Israel is uncommon. That much over Israel is like I don't think I've seen anything that significant before over Israel. So, and like I said, something significantly less causes flooding in Israel. So I think that is like a real storm is coming. And it's not like the final like whatever storm, but it is like a much stronger warning than previously. Um, so that's it. I don't have anything else to add. I think this 2025 I think is going to be more extreme than 2024, and part of that is that 2,520 days ago is 2018 now. We're in January of 2018. If I go to here, we go to the date from calculator, and we go to 2,520 days ago, and just even the 2,520 days ago, 1,260, which is half of 2,520. That's why I use it because this would be the 7 year tribulation period, but I don't actually think that's what Revelation or Daniel is talking about. But I do think there is value in the 7 year period here. Is my computer freezing? Okay. Um, am I being DDoSed? It seems like it probably. So, I'm manifesting whatever's DDoSing me. Something strikes someone you really care about, or something you really care about, and hits you to the core in a way that you'll know not to keep doing that to me. It'll hurt you. Stopping me from saying this on a video, which it doesn't matter if I say it or don't say it, but it will hurt you more than you can imagine. It'll hurt you more than if you just did nothing. So, okay. Again, there's suicidal people. I don't really. Suicidal people being controlled by spirits or computers or some kind of combination of both. Whatever. AIs. Some kind of combination of both. But, yeah. And I guess we can do one more thing is like the. Let's pull this up from this one. So like this is what 2,520 days ago looks like on my Twitter or X, and it's starting to get to the point where you know this is where things started kicking up significantly. This is where the volcanic activity. This is where I started recognizing very consciously volcanic stuff, earthquake stuff, probably storm stuff, but that came a little later. But the volcano and earthquake stuff, very clearly around this time was when I started recognizing it, because that's when it started going crazy, and I expect it's going to start doing that again. It's also when Alessandra like publicly broke up with Jamie Mazur or whatever. And so I think that date is important. I said that in another video. And there's just a lot of important dates in the next like 5 months. So I've said in even one of my things on here, on my story and pictures, I think the next 5 months, like from now to my birthday, let's say, of this coming year, there's going to be a lot of significant happenings that are, mind blowing, that are very clearly connected, and it's going to be so difficult for people to deny that there's a connection, that something's going on. I do, in fact, believe it's going to be, you know, set set up for sure that the my connection to the seven churches of Asia from Revelation is going to become undeniable. That's what I believe. And again, the next 5 months for sure, like from now to my birthday, I think is going to be just event after event, constant, like more powerful than even like last year. Like the significant events of like it's going to be more than that. So that's my belief. And I don't think Yahweh would like there's something that usually I think tells me internally just like whether I should say it or not, and I just get a feeling that this is what it is. I guess we'll see, won't we? But that's why I'm making this video, because I think it's gonna check out. So yeah, this is at midnight tonight. This is the thing that gets shared. And like I've been sharing on my. I have two Twitters or two X accounts, Yomat Yah and Matthew is Yah, and these get shared on the Matthew is Yah. I was doing it on both, but I've changed it to just Matthew is Yah as the one that's sharing the kind of like events from that long ago. In fact, I'm going to add Matthew is Yah because I made that account sometime around here. So I mean, there's just the BitGrail thing happened sometime around here. If not, it had already happened, I think, but it becomes public like 20 days from this point or something like that. And then my car got stolen, and I think this is it. And I think probably the whatever attacked me out of Italy, like, you know, that's about to explode publicly into the open. It might be that Italy no longer becomes the seat of Christian authority if they actively participated in this attack, and they're on the opposite side of the Catholic Church is on the opposite side of the seven churches of Asia and Book of Revelation thing, because I could believe that that's very true because I can see what the Pope is doing, and he's just like clueless. So either clueless or willfully like satanic, but it seems more clueless to me. Um, which in that position of authority is kind of willfully satanic in my opinion. You can't be like ignorant and have that much authority, or at least like you should be trying to increase your perception, like it talks about in um, the Proverbs, which is in my thing today. So it makes sense. It's all going together. Everything's going together. So it's flowing. Other than that, I don't really have much more to add here. You can even see like March 31st of then, so like 2 or 3 months from now, we're having the point where I'm making a point that these two time periods are something that is significant. You know what I mean? 2,520 days here. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. So, and then like when I look back 2,520 days, this was like right around the time when the 9 point whatever earthquake happened in Japan, and I shared that with Maggie Moon. But it'll just be, I'll just keep posting about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll keep updating my each one of these things that I've posted 2,520 days ago. It makes sense to the day. You know what I mean? Just as looking back 5 months in my story and pictures, almost every day it is. I think every day it's relevant, but almost every day it is obviously relevant to a point where it's like undeniable if you have a brain, or if you're reasoning in good faith and you're not being like a bullshit, bad faith actor. Then yeah, okay. So like even the Counter-Strike things are like, you know, on point to the day. It's like that thing where from the Watchmen that I sent Andre Ambrosio, which is like how Doctor Manhattan perceives time differently. Yahweh perceives time like not like humans, and I think he gives me little tidbits in perception, but it would just be too overwhelming being an actual like in a person and having to go through it and sit through. Like if you told me 7 years ago what was going to happen over the next 7 years from that period, I would be like, fuck. So I think it's better that he in the way that he does it, at least for me, is to be gentle and like, okay, I'm gonna slowly do this for you so that it's not too overwhelming. But yeah, okay, that's it. That's all. Cool. Well, um, I'll post this on YouTube. It might not go public until later on, but I'll post this on YouTube. And again, like the stuff with Jason Coppola and San Francisco having its first tornado warning, and then which means there's a radar indicated tornado, and then there was another just a tornado that was observed, right? So first they didn't have tornado records until 1986, but my guess is it's not common in San Francisco to get tornadoes. So I don't think that changed that much prior to 1986, and then after. So my guess is that it is the first like real tornado warning, and not maybe the first tornado in the city of San Francisco. And so that means not just earthquakes or something to worry about, but now you got to worry about tornadoes and stuff like that you never had to worry about before. But now, thanks to stealing from me for the whatever time in public, while all this bullshit where I'm being like raped and bred on like forced bred without my permission by people who are holding my kids captive, and then you're still stealing from me and doing it on purpose, and like there's some kind of satanic agenda. No, we're done. So, all right, have a blessed one. I'll catch you next time. Anything else? Do I have anything else to say? Not really. If I do, I mean, I guess I'll make another video or something. But yeah. Um. So I would suggest change your mind, metanoia, repent. That's what repent means. Change your mind, do the right thing, make it up to me. All right. Anyway, have a blessed one. Later. Yeah.